What is up, everyone? It's Friday night, right? So that means it's time for some nuts and bolts. Tony, it's almost kickoff.
One more sleep. One more.
One more sleep until we are in that beautiful stadium that we were just standing over in that little animation. So pumped to see the Chargers play, even though it is the preseason, even though Brandon Staley very cautious with playing any starters. I'm okay with that. Let's stay healthy. Let's worry about all the injuries that are going to happen during the season when it actually should be a problem, not before the season even starts. But Tony Tucker, we're here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited about tomorrow, and going to be heading down there. I am going to get on Twitter and figure out directions, rules, anything I need to bring so I can go and tailgate with the Die Hard Bolt Club. I saw that they have a promotion going up there, Thunder Alley. I want all the details. I'm just excited to have football back and have Chargers football back and cheer on all of these rookies, undrafted free agents, all the players on the roster that are fighting to keep the dream alive. It's a beautiful thing. And we're going to get to hang out. We'll be there. And that's always a plus. Athir, cheers, my friend.
Yes, Athir is in here. God bless you too, Austin Eckler. What's up, Athir? Go ahead and fire your questions in the chat, as many as you have for tonight's show. But I'm also super pumped, Tony. I'm going to be hosting a TikTok live show from SoFi Stadium, so hopefully I can find good enough Wi-Fi connection for that. So that's going to be a ton of fun. And like you said, we're going to be hanging out early at the game, so we're going to get to meet up with a bunch of people. I've probably gotten messages from 10, 15 people like, hey, you going to the game? You going to the game? You going to the game? It's like, yes, we will be there to see the Chargers take on the Rams house.
And we get it, Mike. You're more popular than me. You have more friends than I do. Nobody cares if I'm going to be at the game.
Tony, if they're my friends, then they're your friends. So that means that they care about you just as much as me, okay?
Mi amigo as tu amigo, as my friends south of that might not translate right. Let's real quick before we jump into this, and anybody, if you're getting in here, I want to hear predictions for tomorrow, players that you want to see ball out. Like, is there a battle that you are hoping gets some sort of clarity in tomorrow's action? They'll have more chances, obviously, more practices, more games. But I just want to say how cool all of the stuff that came out of training camp was and how amazing it was to see all the fans there getting along, celebrating the team, the players responding with extreme gratitude, signing autographs, out there in the heat every day, both sides, creating and elevating the buzz that is the 2022 Chargers. It's at an all-time high for excitement going into this year.
Oh, yeah. And also on the field stuff, it looks like the team is flying around at practice. And I know that's what it looks like from a different angle when you're not watching it from a broadcast, but they are flying around. And I was pointing out to you that even Justin Herbert looks like he's playing a lot faster in practice this year. It's not that he doesn't play fast. He plays fast, but there's just, you could feel that tempo in everything that he's doing now. And he's getting better and better and better and better as we go on. So, and he's got more reps behind him. I'm pumped for it. Does anyone know anything regarding DJ's contract extension and why it's taking so long to get done? Lots of talk back and forth with the agent, I'm assuming. We're both kind of thinking about it too. It's on the back of our minds. Panic meter is still at a relatively low scale because both sides, both Derwin and the Chargers, have said like a deal is close to getting done, and it's more about the metrics. It's more about the guarantees and more about the structure of the contract than anything. It's not like we're so far away from a trade don't say trade. That's not the word I meant to say. It's not like we're so far away from a deal that we need to be panicking right now. But Tony, any thoughts on the Derwin stuff before we get into this?
Mike, that was worse than the F word in church right there.
I know, right?
Don't say that word so close to Derwin James. You're going to freak people out. I personally have a zero worry about this. The way that Staley and Telesco talk about him and the way they built the defense so that he could be used in maximum capacity, it really is just business. And I think if it was any other player that we didn't feel like was so detrimental, or not detrimental, but so key to our success, like we wouldn't even be talking about it really. Like we would talk about it, but we wouldn't be worried. I feel like people are really panicked. I'm not panicked at all. It's going to happen. Everybody's going to celebrate. Derwin wouldn't even be playing right now anyways. He had surgery in the offseason. Like he had work done on his shoulder. So he wouldn't even be part of contact anyways.
That's another thing to keep in mind, guys, that Derwin James not practicing right now, holding in too. So he's at practice. He's getting the mental reps. He's getting the conversation. He's seeing his players ball out. But him not being at practice is really going to help him stay healthy through training camp and into the season. Derwin James is one of those players that deals with like small injuries throughout the year. And hopefully he doesn't have as many this year as he did last year. And even with those injuries, he balled out last year. So it actually could be a blessing in disguise. We talked about it behind the scenes a lot. So I don't think there's anything to worry about, Francisco. So anyways, we are going to highlight here 3 things that we each want to see, and we'll briefly talk about each one. We need you guys to, 1, subscribe to the channel before we do anything. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, so that way we can get it up in the algorithm. But for 2, load up the chat with what you guys realistically want to see tomorrow at the preseason game. If there's specific players that you guys want to see highlighted, if there's any specific statistics that you want to see put up, it can be literally anything. Are you watching the Lions game? I just looked down at it. I'm seeing a slant route being run.
Zach Wilson just limped off the field, non-contact injury.
Mike White season.
That's brutal. Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Chargers talk. I don't even know. I'm not even focused on that right now. All those things might be 100%.
Really bad. That's really bad. Yeah. So Staley, keep all the players out the field. Keep all the players out the field. If they're going to play, let them play one drive in the final game of the preseason. Keep them out the field. Okay? Jesus. Hopefully Zach Wilson's okay. Hopefully Zach Wilson is completely fine. But anyways, like we were saying, we're going to go over our 3 things that we each want to see more than anything out of the game. Y'all help us out in the chat. Let us know what you want to see from our Bolts, from specific players, from the coaching staff, whatever it might be. Tony Tucker, would you like to go first?
Yes, I would. I want to see where I want to start. I'm going to go with the one that I am most excited about, and that would probably be in the promo. If you saw that I cut for this, Jasir Taylor is somebody that I've been very excited about since the draft. Just going back, I didn't know anything about him at draft. I'm not going to pretend like I did scouting on a 7th round projected draft pick, because that's a lie. But when I went back and I watched him, and you start reading about what kind of student he was, what kind of teammate he was, a captain, like the different things where he stepped up, and you watch the game and you see the impact plays he makes, I was like, okay, this guy's going to be a solid contributor at some point on the team. I would like to see Jasir Taylor playing in the slot. All of a sudden, the Rams are driving. The Rams fans are shouting whose house it is. And then right there in the end zone, Jasir Taylor makes just a touchdown-saving interception, and SoFi erupts with the powder blue fans that are clearly going to be packing the house tomorrow if Twitter is any indication of how many people are going to be going to the game. So I really am hoping to see a hot start from Jasir Taylor, and I would like that to be punctuated with a touchdown-saving interception.
I like it. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time tomorrow. He's one of the guys that's going to get a lot of looks. And if he does shine, that's a good step towards him being involved during the regular season down the road. We've talked about Michael Davis's contract situation multiple times. This team's going to need depth at corner in the next couple of years. You know, ASJ is pretty locked in. JC Jackson's obviously locked in for 4 or 5 years. So Jasir Taylor, Dean Leonard, either one of those guys emerging as a 3rd cornerback on this roster. Bryce Callahan obviously is a temporary player. Hopefully he balls out, but he's a temporary player. It'll be great to see. And this is the first time that these guys are taking reps on an NFL field playing NFL football. All right, we're going to go to the chat now, Tony, because I think this is how this is going to work. I think it's perfect. We'll give our take. If there's nothing in the chat, then we can talk about what the chats are saying. So keep loading it up with more stuff. I'm interested in what kind of player Alexander Horvath will be. I love this. I did not put this on my list, but I should have. I am excited to see Horvath as well, because I feel like they're really going to try him out tomorrow and in the preseason in general and see what he can do and how dynamic he is, because that's what shows out on his tape, is that it feels like this guy could play tight end, fullback, running back. So I'm excited for Horvath as well. Anything on Horvath, Tony?
He will be making an appearance on my list because I'm very, excited about Horvath. So yeah, exercise the demons, which I love this name. I might steal this for one of my fantasy football team names. I'm a big fan of this. I will credit, awesome contributor here in the chat on Nuts and Bolts. I love that name.
Fire him away, Athir. Fire him away. Francisco, I'm worried about Zion Johnson. Don't say this, Francisco. This is just as bad as saying the trade thing that I said earlier. Any idea how much he will play tomorrow? I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. Is he?
I heard today on the Chargers Weekly podcast, which, by the way, I'm an old person. I figured out today how to send something from my phone to my smart TV, and it was like a celebration.
Wow.
I accidentally hit the wrong button, and it was like, do you want to connect this to your TV? And I was like, yes, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. It was awesome. Anyways, they said they expect Zion to get a couple of series just to get out there, find out what it feels like, have that feeling, which I think it's a good idea. I mean, we're all worried about injuries. I was telling you earlier, Drake London went down in that game. Injuries are just a part of football. We don't want to see it, but I do think it's necessary to get some reps out there.
Yeah, we'll see how much he works. He might work the first drive. I know he's probably dressing out, so we'll see. Holy Padres fans just traded for Juan Soto, and now Fernando Tatis Jr. just got suspended for 80 games. Holy shit, almost the whole season.
I closed Twitter when that broke because there's so many Padre fans that are on my timeline
losing their mind right now.
Lose their shit right now.
All right, on to the next one. Right tackle is the only spot that Athir cares about. This is another big one. I left it off my list intentionally because I feel like you were going to put it on your list. I feel like someone was going to bring it up in the chat, or we were going to talk about it in some way. And sure enough, here we are. Right tackle position is a battle that we are watching closely, expecting to see Storm Norton and Trey Pipkins both get work tomorrow and for the rest of the preseason. And all eyes are on Trey Pipkins in my mind, as far as the fan base goes, just because, Storm Norton was struggling mightily last year. So everyone kind of wants to see a replacement, but I want to see who the coaching staff likes more. That's who I want to rock with. Tony, anything on the right tackle situation? This might be on your list too, huh?
I don't have this one on my list, but Athir, I'd be curious, is there a person that you're rooting for? Because I am rooting for Pipkins. I put it on the board back here, these little papers flapping in the breeze. I have my crazy predictions, and I have Trey Pipkins' Pro Bowl season written down on one of those papers. Because you got to speak that kind of stuff into existence. It's the only way it's going to happen, people.
Now, along with that, Tony, put on there that I also agreed in that same episode to buy Trey Pipkins' jersey if he makes the Pro Bowl. So,
which I will hold you to that. We'll go shopping.
I'll be wearing it. Well, we ain't gonna find that at the store. We ain't gonna find that at the store. Tyler's in the house. Do we know Tyler? This is a new viewer.
This is new. Tyler, thanks for hopping in the chat.
Bolts up. Welcome to the channel, man. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because we go live every Friday night. But who is going to hold down the starting tight end position? Here's the answer, Tyler. Gerald Everett. But we're talking about after Gerald Everett, I'm assuming. Donald Parham, Trey McKitty. I think everyone's going to kind of be a tight end by committee, by situation that we're in on the field and down and distance to go, all of that stuff. Gerald Everett is the starting tight end, but anything on the tight ends, Tony?
No, it's Gerald Everett. He's just too versatile. And the thing that here's the reason why I know it's Everett, even though the official depth chart hasn't come out. They keep referencing how good he is as a blocker or how underrated he is. Several coaches have mentioned it. So we've heard Lombardi say it. We've heard Staley say it. This is somebody else was talking about his ability to be underrated as a blocker. And that's important. That means that they are going to be using him in run sets, things like that. So Gerald Everett, TE1, going to have his best year. Everybody, I just keep hearing people go, oh, he hasn't had a breakout season. He played with Jared Goff, and he played 6 or 7 games with a healthy Russell Wilson last year. He's got Justin Herbert. Gerald Everett's going to be a monster this year.
Athir is with you. He's saying he's going to be one of the more impactful players. on the Chargers just because of the matchups he's probably going to see. Yeah, I agree with you. And I saw actually a couple days ago, Everett was at the mic himself. He was saying that he's really proud of himself and where he's come as a blocker. He said he really worked on that this offseason, and he really worked on it in the previous offseason. He's like, that was kind of always a knock in his game, and he feels pretty confident about how much he's improved as a blocker. So you love to hear that even from himself, coaches, and himself.
Mike, read the next comment that just came in. Thank you.
All right, I'm a Raiders fan. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. All right, so I am going to give mine first. Or my first one, sorry. You guys keep filling up the chat with anything else y'all want to see in the preseason game tomorrow. But my first one, Tony, is all I want to see is a well-coached and clean game penalty-wise. I want to see the penalties down. I want to see the coaching staff seeming like they have a plan. I want to see smooth transitions on and off the field. A lot of people don't know this. They just were hyping up that Raiders preseason game. There was confusion every time a special teams unit for kickoff, field goal, punt, there was a ton of confusion and coaches yelling on the sideline at players to get out there from the Raiders at the Hall of Fame game. Everyone was praising it, but that was one thing I did notice. I don't want to see that from our squad. I want to see that we're well organized. We're going on and off the field smoothly. We're not going out with 12, and we're not leaving 10. We're not leaving a guy on the sideline. That's something I really want to see is a clean, well-coached, low-penalty game. I'm not putting a number on it, but just so that I'm not like, geez, the penalties are crazy. I just want to see that these guys are coming together as a team and they're working well together with the coaching staff. Would be excited if we were like at halftime with one penalty or something.
I'm going to put maybe a finer point on it. I think it's the functionality penalties. These young players who are scrapping and grinding it out, there's going to be some holding calls. There's going to be some of those maybe false starts, jitters trying to get. Those are one thing. But it's the lining up incorrectly. Remember how many games we were cost and moments and touchdowns we were cost last year because of illegal motions or too many men on the field or covering up the – I want to see all of those things ironed out. And then I'm going to piggyback on one that's not going to quite make the list because I had it on, but that is J.K. Scott and special teams having that moment right there. Is like in that clean functionality of the game is seeing the punt special teams be a benefit. Because last year, how many times were we just like, did they just get another 25 yards on like a kick return, a punt return, or whatever it was? It just felt like it was bad news all the way around.
Yeah, we don't talk about it enough, but we missed the playoffs in week 18, but we also missed the playoffs in week 5.
Yeah. Oh, there's I don't want to dive back into it, but there's a couple of moments where
the Cowboys game played terrible for 3 quarters, and then a penalty on the goal line cost us the game there, and then also a bad call. Let's not forget about the bad call, but we're on to the next season. Athier likes Pipkins. That's what we like.
And that's why I like Athier.
There it is. There it is right there. All right, Tony, number two.
Let's go to this guy right here. I'm going to Chris Rumph. I want to see Chris Rumph on 3rd and 8, coming off the edge, strict sack, fumble, turnover from Chris Rumph, and just see him get up and tear the house down on a strip sack. Bosa said that he graduated from string bean to asparagus. That was a funny joke prompted by Daniel Popper there, which I really enjoy Popper's interaction with the players. I think it's funny. I really like Chris Rumph, and I think that he can be a solid edge rusher in this league. He needs development just like anybody else does, but I root for him to succeed. I really like him, and I want to see that. 3rd down, strip sack, fumble, and I'll be going crazy. Hold my beer while I celebrate. That's what I'll be shouting.
And a Jasir Taylor scoop and score. There you go. I don't even know how that happens, but
I'll double dip on that one for sure. I got distracted by a comment in here. He's like, I have no idea how I ended up here.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But I'm glad you stumbled in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, please subscribe.
Baller JJ.
Yeah. But yeah, Chris Rumph's transformation over this offseason is very impressive. Shows a little bit of his work ethic there. This man put on some muscle. And we talked about how desperately he needed it, to a point where it was either put on that muscle or maybe not make it in the NFL. That's where it was. His back was against the wall. He realized that he was too small to play the edge position in the NFL, and he went and did it, which you love to see. That's all we asked him to do this offseason, is to put on that muscle. He's making the team for sure. He's going to be in the depth of the D-line.
Coach Ficken said nice things about him on special teams too, which
is
really, it was really encouraging, and I love to hear it.
And a guy his size and a guy with his athleticism is actually really good to have on the special teams unit. He's a solid tackler if he has to tackle somebody in open space, but really for like trying to block field goals and block punts, he's going to be good at eating up blockers and getting his hands up. So we'll see how that goes. We got one in here from Tyler. Can Rashawn Slater take the next step to be the franchise left tackle? I don't think we'll see Rashawn Slater in tomorrow's game or much of the preseason, but that is something that we would love to see. He doesn't really need to take a step. He just needs to be consistent at what he was doing last year and continue growing as a person and as a player. But franchise left tackle seems like the floor right now for Rashawn Slater.
I was just going to say, I think already he's a franchise left tackle. So you get named to the All-Pro team your rookie year. There'd have to be a really big drop-off this year for me not to think of him. Like, I can't imagine in 4 years that they're like, oh, we need to redraft at this position unless something catastrophic happens. So to me, if you're already sort of locked in mentally to the GM's mind as we're going to extend this player after 1 year, you're franchise material. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really hyped about the Slater-Herbert picks. Like, those two are going to be together for most of their careers together. And these guys are both super young in their second and third years. And it feels like taking that next step is from franchise or elite player to Hall of Famer. And we're in year 2.
We got this connection right here. And then we got Zion Johnson in this year's draft and Rashawn Slater. Like, that feels pretty good offensively. Isaiah Spiller in the 4th round. I'll squeeze that jersey in here by Christmas time. So it's looking good.
It's over. All right, my number 2, Tony, and if you guys are just tuning in, what we're doing is we're listing some things we want to see out of the Chargers tomorrow in the preseason game. So if you guys have anything you want to see, please put it in the chat. Oh, wait, let's go to this one real quick. Do the Chargers have the best offensive line in the entire NFL? If they go out and they gel well together, I think that this is a possibility that could happen. But let's say that they're in the top 10, top 5, like they're right there in the conversation. There's some O-lines out there that have been doing it. But when you talk about like the Buccaneers O-line, for example, lost the entire interior part of it. Talk about the Browns O-line. Their starting center was carted off the field today in the preseason game. So those O-lines are already taking huge hits, and our O-line is going to keep the move up in the ranks. Now we start looking at, like Detroit, Philly, New Orleans, like we're starting to talk about some
Indianapolis, any line with Quentin Nelson on it. Yeah. Quentin Nelson is a monster. Yeah, dude is a beast.
Some elite O-line.
I just want to say, I feel like Tyler's gaslighting us. He already told us he's a Raiders fan, and he's just in here going, I love Herbert, and you guys have the best offensive line. He's going to clip all of these and troll us on social media. And when bad things happen, Tyler's here to mess with us. I know it.
Should I give Tyler the boot then?
No. He's a good, smart, respectful fan as of this point. I'm a conspiracy theorist. You know this about me. I feel like he's been sent here.
You just got lucky, Tyler. I would have done it. If I had any suspicion. Anyways, my number 2 here, Tony, you're going to like this one. I know that the starters are not playing. And I know that the starting linebackers are definitely not playing because they're injured, all of them already. But my number 2 is holding the LA Rams offense to under 100 yards in total team rushing. I want to see improvement in the rush defense schematically. Like I said, we're not going to see the starters out there. But if schematically, the scheme and the depth that we have there and what they've been working on in practice shows improvement in the run-stop game, I can only imagine that it's going to be extremely improved when those starters get on the field. So 100 yards is the number I'm looking at. Maybe they bust a big run, and I'll give them some leeway on this one. But if there is no big runs and they hold them to under 100 yards, I'm ecstatic at the improvement that we've made schematically, at least, and everyone understanding what we're trying to do as a unit on the defense when it comes to stopping the run. We've talked about it multiple times. That's the hole in the defense. You need the linebackers and you need the D-line to understand what they're doing to stop the run in this defense, because they don't have a full understanding and everyone's not working together in cohesion and our linebackers can't tackle, then it's not going to work. And we're going to be terrible again. So I want to see improvements into that part of the Chargers defensive game.
I'll be quick about this because we're not going to see Austin Johnson or Sebastian Joseph Day likely, which is good because that D-line situation is a very intriguing roster battle because we have Fehoko and Gaziano and Covington and Jerry Tillery's in that mix, and you bring in Morgan Fox. It's like, where are these players? You know, you draft the rookie Otito, and Foster Merrill is, you know, been there and showing signs of life and filled in nicely last year in a couple of pinches. I just hope that you are 100% correct because we really need to improve that aspect. And I will celebrate that fact for sure.
Me too. Yeah. And Jerry Tiller is a guy specifically that I would like to see ball out. Lots of hate on him on the internet from Chargers fans, and who knows what the outlook is for Jerry Tillery on the team, on the roster, whatever it might be. But if he is going to be on the team, I want to see him succeed. I'm not rooting against him still, even though a lot of fans are, it seems like. Anyways, Tony, we're running out of time here. So go ahead. Let's go to your final one, and we'll go to my final one. Hopefully it's the same one.
Athir, get that question in here. We're going to be bouncing out of here in just a moment. We got another show to do.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with my last one, as I want to see a backfield alignment at some point of Xander Horvath and Isaiah Spiller. That's 450 pounds of fear lined up in the backfield. Both of them can catch the ball out of the backfield. Both of them can bring the thunder. Like, like old school, I don't really see it too much, but maybe like some sort of split back set, and it's like you fake it in the belly here, and then this one comes across, we hit him on a little screen, or Horvath ends up being the lead blocker for Spiller. I want to see those two on the field. I want to see them used nicely by Easton Stick or Chase Daniels, who's ever on the field with them at the same time. And really just Horvath was playing at like 40% in one of those padded practices, and you saw somebody come up and try to hit him. They just bounced off of him. He is a physical specimen where you're like, if I were a football player, I'd like to be that tough. It's the way I felt about when I watched Mike Allstott a long time ago. Now here's the thing. I'm not that tough. Like I'm not one of those guys. I'm not looking for, I was the kind of football player I didn't want contact. I'm not trying to, I had concussions. I don't want that smoke. So I cheers to that.
We don't need any more of those. But yeah, Isaiah Spiller, we haven't even talked about him the whole show. Not said his name a single time. He could really turn some Chargers fans' heads tomorrow. If Isaiah Spiller has a fast start, Chargers fans are going to be demanding this guy as the RB2 going into the season. So I'm watching Isaiah Spiller also. He's got an electric game, so it'll be exciting to see if he can get a big one, at least one big one, or maybe even just a touchdown celebration, 5-yard touchdown run. We'll take it. But I put this on the screen, Tony, because my third and final one that I want to see, and it's the one I want to see most, is a big DeAndre Carter return. On kickoff, on punt return, don't care which one it is. I want to see number 80 flashing up the sideline and showing that this special teams unit is very much improved. We don't talk about the third part of the game when we're talking with Raiders fans, Chiefs fans, Broncos fans. Our special teams unit has the potential to top everyone else this year, with DeAndre Carter being added, with the new special teams coordinator, new punter, and of course, D-Hop was great for us last year and is going to be great for us again this year. We don't have Harrison Butlicker and we don't have Daniel Carlson, but man, our special teams unit can really take a leap from what it's been in previous years. And I really want to see that shine tomorrow, because guess what? The starting special teams unit is expected to play for the entire preseason. So who knows? Maybe we'll score most of our points on special teams.
Punt returns and kick returns are always electric. So that would be a beautiful sight to see. The second half of the year after they got Andre Roberts, it was actually pretty sensational. So yes, I would love to see it. DeAndre Carter he seems to have some great connection with any quarterback who's throwing him the football. I just had a comment on Twitter right before I got on, and it was about the fact that part of the Patriots' success, and I think it was from like Tom Telesco's burner, who's one of my favorite people to interact with on Twitter. He was just saying that the acquisition of Ficken could be looked at the same as Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, because that's the part of the game we don't talk about for the Patriots' success. For 2 decades, their special teams have been sensational, and they don't give up cheap yards, and they don't give up penalties. They block kicks. They get the extra yards in the return game, and I just think that if we can have that part of the football game where it's excelling on a week-to-week basis, the wins are going to be stacking up. It's going to be great. Question asked by Athir. We'll answer this. We'll get out of here. Yes, thank you to all these people in here. Even Tyler, the Raiders fan. Instant replay. Carlos Chargers blowing it up. Athir. Mike, read this for me. It's a lot of words.
Tony, my question is, what is your expectation, Tony, for the secondary as a unit this season? Can they be top 5 as far as stats go? Depends on what stats you're talking about, but I definitely think that any defensive stat, this secondary could be top 5. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I've already said that I'll be disappointed if the defense at all aspects is any less than top 5 in all the categories, because there's that much talent. So when you go back and you look at all the stats with the Rams defense and how good they were, this defense to me has more talent, has more playmakers because of when it's come together. Now, that's kind of maybe the hitch with the Derwin James contract situation, but like you got there, they had Jalen Ramsey, Darius Williams is nice. The 2 safeties they had, Johnson and Hill. But up front, I like the front maybe better than what they had with the Rams. I know you have Aaron Donald, but I like the opportunity to have Bosa and Mack on each side. And Sebastian Joseph Day is a player. Like, a lot of people might not know him, but a healthy year this year, I just think he's going to have an opportunity to put up great numbers. The secondary goes, I would be disappointed if they don't lead the league in interceptions. There's just too many ball hawks back there. And if there's not one of the top 5 against the pass this year. Now, maybe that stat could be skewed because I anticipate the Chargers to have a lot of leads and teams are going to be throwing, and maybe it's sort of like, dink and dunk, giving up a lot of pass yards in the fourth quarter of games. But I think it's going to be one of the best defenses. I can't wait. I don't want to say something too crazy, Mike. Like, Bucks defense, here we come. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah. Bend, don't break. Bend, don't break. That's the motto when you're playing with the big lead. You can go ahead and let them get those little dink and dunks. They're just killing the clock. Just when we get down to the red zone, we get to the other side of the field, make sure y'all are really tightened up. We don't give up the touchdown. We keep them to a field goal. But yeah, when you talk about the most depth at secondary in the league, we got to be brought up in the conversation. Yep. We got to be. And we are 5 deep at corner, and we have like 4 safeties that we really believe in. So pump for the secondary. All right, Tony, let's get out of here because Jordan Love is about to get onto the field. Everyone, subscribe to this channel on Nuts and Bolts. This might be confusing. Right after this, me and Tony are going to leave this live. Tony's probably going to have to reboot his Wi-Fi or something, but we're going to leave this live, and we're going to head to the MJT football channel, where we're going to be watching the first half of the 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love and Trey Lance are on the field as we speak, going at it. So that's where we're heading next. Subscribe to this channel and then go directly to your search bar and search MJT football. You'll see it come up. There's a picture of me. There's a picture of Tony, and there's an ugly guy in between us. Easy to find.
And Tyler, there's a Raiders fan over on that channel. He's the worst, but he's our friend.
Bolt up, everyone. See you tomorrow at the game.